Welcome to How I Made Don't Go. This is my second song that I've put out in my project of putting out an album by the time I turn 25 years old. Um, the next step is the album that comes out, which will be out in a few weeks on June 24th of 2025. Um, yeah, so this is a sad song. This is very near and dear to my heart, and I poured my heart and soul out into this. So I hope you like it. Let me show you how I made it. All right, we got Logic open here, and the first thing that I want to pull up is the guitars. We got a lot of stuff going on, and actually some fun musical things or production things, or I don't even know what you want to call it. But I've got these two guitars, which is just the same thing recorded twice and panned a little bit to the left and to the right. Um, but those sound like this. Boom. And I panned those a little bit to the left and to the right just to add a little bit of a surrounding feel, like maybe you're in the room with someone as they're strumming and singing, etc. But on those, I have a couple compressors, a little gain, and some EQ, of course, along with a bus that goes into a reverb, which I think is just a generic Space Designer, Grand Hall 2 or whatever. And along with that, I have one of the more noticeable or recognizable things in this song, and that is these low wails. And in these wails, the way that I made them is with this cool thing right here. This is called an EBow, and what it does is when I turn it on, it sets off an electromagnet right here, which actually vibrates the strings and creates a sustained note, so I can get something like a synth, where I have a little bit more control over the dynamics of it, and I can use this slide on the strings of the guitar to add a little bit of melody, and so I'm not just playing an open note throughout the whole song. But this is what those sound like. I did 2 takes, and they're both panned all the way out, way behind your ears on that left and the right, and then pushed into a huge reverb over here, and then compressed a lot just because even though I have control over the dynamics, it still gets pretty loud and pretty soft in certain parts. But these are what those two sound like together. Great. And then over here, the next thing that comes in is this guitar riff that I actually did in one take throughout the whole song. And you can kind of see here, there's a little bit of a dynamic change. I play harder when it's more loud. I play a little softer when it's a little softer. But this is what that sounds like. It's a little underlick throughout the song. And I also did a second version of that wail that does a little bit different notes just to add some extra layers and transients, which sounds like this. And then in the choruses, and then that little bridge leading up to the chorus, I have some ukulele and then a synthetic bass just to add some more top end and a little bit of low end to really beef up those choruses and make them feel extra, extra big, extra, extra crazy. But this is what that ukulele sounds like with all of it. Actually, I'll show you both of them. Here's just the bass alone, and then with the ukuleles. On those, literally I just compressed it. There's no EQ or anything like that, which is maybe a bad move on my part, but if you guys are producers out there, let me know in the comments what I'm doing wrong, because this is my first project to do, and I'm sure I did a lot of stuff badly. But yep, that's all the guitars. Now we're going to go on to one of my favorite instruments on the album, the key monica. Now the key monica is this bad boy right here that my sister actually got for me for Christmas. which is basically a harmonica a bunch of different times. And so each note plays a different note of a harmonica, but you can automate it a lot and add your own dynamics by blowing hard or soft, etc. But this is what that sounds like here. Um, yeah, this thing has been super fun to play and fits a lot better than a lot of the synths that I have found on Logic. Um, but I did 2 octaves of the same kind of melody here. Those are both panned into the center with a lot of compression, and I guess I decided no distortion on that. And then this is just playing the bass notes of the chords that are being played. And then all those have a good amount of reverb on them in the form of buses, which I talked about earlier. But now we get to go into the vocals. So here in the verses, I have 1 in the middle, 2 panned left and right, and the ones panned a little bit left and right are toned back a little bit to make sure that one in the front is kind of extra in the center so you can actually kind of hear it. But this is what these guys sound like.
Take a 20 to the old arcade. Let you win at every game we play. Oh my, what a beautiful day.
Boom. Now these are a little out of tune, and I kept it that way because it fits the vibe of the song a little bit better. This is a sad song. It's raw, it's emotional, and if I put a lot of auto-tune on that, it really would take away from that. It also adds a little bit of dissonance, so there's a feeling of something wrong, even though I'm describing these dates that someone would be going on with a significant other. There's that slight feeling that something's a little bit off as we're going through this. But that goes on. There's only 2 verses in the song, and that's what that sounds like. Now for the pre-chorus, I just have 1 main vocal, and then all of these are whistles. And the fun thing about these whistles is, kind of like Barnacle Boy, there's a little bit of a introduction, and then that same thing hits on the sides, and then in the back on both sides like that. But this is what the pre-chorus sounds like with the vocal and the whistles.
'Cause with you, I have the time of my life. And with you, I'll spend the rest of my days.
Now we're going to go into the chorus vocals, and as you can see, we got a lot of stuff going on. One thing about this chorus is there's a lot of yelling in it. And so I did 1 take where it's right in the center, it's compressed, it's got some EQ, but it also is surrounded by a bunch of other variations of this vocal where I'm kind of saying it loudly or shouting, and I did that at different distances from the microphone and at different inflections in my voice so that it sounds like a bunch of different people are yelling, or at least like I'm yelling not just the same thing, but at different times in different places. But this is what that sounds like.
'Cause we're way too young, and I'm way too dumb to be feeling this right now. Oh, they really lay it on thick. Think I'm over it.
So beautiful, haunting. I love it. Now we're going to go into the bridge. One thing that I do in the bridges of my songs is I add the bridge, and then at the end there's that last chorus, but I love to meld the bridge into everything else that's going on in the song. And that's one thing that I did here. And one of the people that have inspired me throughout this process is Sufjan Stevens, and he does that all the time. Sometimes with the vocals, but sometimes it's also just different layers as the verses and choruses are going by that all get smashed into one area. Somehow it still sounds okay, or great, really, but it just makes it huge and ambient and just amazing. So what I did is just that. Um, so going in, we have a little bit of an instrumental. It kind of breaks it down for you, and then it goes into those don't
So
goes.
don't go, don't go, don't go. Cause if you go, then you'll be
One thing that I
gone.
had to do
If
is
you
change up
go,
some of the
I'll be.
panning. So in here, I automated a lot of stuff, and one of those would be the gain. So I turned it down a little bit when I added those chorus vocals, and I also made the "Don't Go" words move back automatically into more of this side area, so that the chorus vocals can have a spot, and they go kind of more into the center. I think I automated that up here too. No, I didn't. Those are just in the same spot. So these give room for that chorus vocal. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. This song is something that's emotional and uh, has been part of a grieving and uh, mourning process for me. I won't say much about this because I know words to songs mean different things to other people. And I think Taylor Swift once said that she doesn't go into the vocals or words in her songs much because um, it takes away from the meaning that it can have for other people. But this song for me is a song about the loss of a relationship um, that was going well and good. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Like and follow, etc. And make sure to stream this on Spotify along with Barnacle Boy, my first single. And in June of 2025, if you're listening to this before that, make sure to follow me on Spotify so you can get notified when Rust, the album, comes out. Thank you guys so much. You have a great day. Bye.